Hi there. In this video, I am going to show how to work the scalloped edge without breaking either one of the yarns. As you'll notice, this is a brioche pattern, and we use a dark color and a light color. So to do this, we work the bottom part of the leaf continuously across the row, but then when we get to the top portion of the leaf, then we work each leaf separately. And when we get to this point in here, I am employing a crochet technique to slip stitches across the edge of the leaf in both colors, and then connect here to the point where the next leaf is going to start, and then switch over to knit the next top of the next leaf. To work the border, in addition to my circular needle, I need 2 double-pointed needles of the same size. I also need a crochet hook. Here in this swatch, I've worked a portion of the pattern, and I've worked the top of the first leaf. And if you have the pattern in front of you, this is chart D, and I'm to the point where I need to work the last 4 rows. So I start by taking my, in this case, color B is the blue color, and color C is this brown or beige color. So I'm going to start row 17 by working my the color B, slipping that first stitch with a yarn over. And you've noticed that I am working with my double pointed needles. That's because when I start knitting the top of the leaf, I need to switch from my circular needle to my double pointed needles. So here I'm working row 17, and now I'm working row 18, where I need to make a left slanting brioche decrease. So here I've got 1 stitch left, but from experience I found that working 2 more rows with this 1 stitch, in essence just making a yarn over and purling or brioche purling that last stitch, which means row 19, and I'm gonna turn it around a bit and do a brioche purl. The results are better when I do it this way. So here I have 1 last stitch on the double pointed needle after completing row 20 of my chart. I'm going to transfer this stitch to a crochet hook, to my crochet hook, and I am going to start with a chain, making a chain. So now I'm ready to begin making a series of 9 slipped stitches along this border, and I want to make these slipped stitches along, inserting my crochet hook through 1 loop on this edge, and I want all of these chains to align, or the slip stitches to align in a straight line. So then I begin my first slip stitch. It's going to be right here, insert, just in case you don't know how to do this, insert a crochet hook under that loop, grab that yarn, pull it underneath or through that loop and through the stitch on the crochet hook, and then I'm going to make a long loop in here, or long stitch, because these stitches have to be worked very loosely, because when we block the shawl, they need to stretch. So you'll notice this is exaggerated. I exaggerated how much I pulled the stitch, and I want to keep it that loose. So I made one slip stitch. I continue the process until I have 9 slip stitches. So here I am making my 8th slip stitch and my 9th slip stitch. At this point, I'm going to transfer this slip stitch from the crochet hook to the left needle tip, just like that, and with my double pointed needle I'm going to take my brioche stitch, and a brioche stitch, it's a yarn over and a stitch together, so these are considered one brioche stitch. I'm going to take that brioche stitch and I'm going to pass it over that stitch on that first stitch. So here, this is the yarn or the stitch that was the result of the slip stitches in this color C. So now I've got it on my left needle tip, and then I'm ready to bring this yarn to this point. So then when I have both of these yarns at this point, I am then ready to begin working the next leaf. With my crochet hook and my color B this time, I'm going to make 8 slip stitches along this line in here, which is behind the 9 slip stitches I made with my color C. So I start right with this loop right here, bring my color B through it, and then proceed to make 8 slip stitches. So this is 1, 2, 3. So I continue the process until I have 8, so that's 3. So here I am making the 7th, and the last one, 8. It's a bit difficult to insert it in that loop, so I'm going to take my double pointed needle and pull it out a little bit, reinsert my crochet hook into the color B stitch, and then pull it through. So here I've made my 8 slip stitches with my color B, and when I'm done, I'm going to put this stitch on my left needle tip, and then I'm going to pass this stitch that I just finished by making these loops, and it's in my color C. I'm going to pass it over the stitch in color B, and then I'm going to pull on this yarn to tighten it like that. So here, now this is my color my color B stitch, and it's the color I am going to start with for working the next leaf, or the top of the next leaf. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually slip this from the left needle tip to my double pointed needle, and I'm going to slip the next one, because normally I would slip this stitch in color C anyway. And what's going to happen is these two stitches now are going to pair up together and become one brioche stitch, which means that this is the brioche stitch and this is its yarn over. So we're going to work them together as if they are one brioche stitch. So after I slip my color C stitch, I proceed with working that row 1 and normally. So basically the next thing I need to do is brioche purl, and then slip the next stitch with a yarn over and brioche purl with my color B. I'm working the row of chart E, which is the next row, or rather the first row of the top of that leaf, until the end. Yarn over at the end. So next I'm going to work row 2, so I work with my double pointed needle. Since on row 2 I need to make a left slanting decrease, and since this stitch and this stitch are considered one brioche stitch, to begin making that decrease I am going to slip them together knitwise as if it was a brioche stitch, which I would have slipped knitwise. Then I knit the next two stitches. One of them happens to be a brioche stitch, the stitch and its yarn over, so I knit those together, and then I pass those first slip stitches over to make that decrease. So this is a normal brioche left slanting decrease, which what I just did. And after making that decrease, I continue working my row 2 as per my chart. At this point, all I have to do is continue with rows 3 and 4 and until I get to row 20, as I did in here, and then do the slip stitches again and then repeat the process.